Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. You're in the right place if you're looking to heal your eczema, your gut issues, and learn how to regulate your nervous system. My name is Julia. If you're new here, I am a registered dietitian. I used to have really bad eczema all my life, went through something called topical steroid withdrawal, and now I'm on a mission in helping people recover from chronic skin issues like eczema. So this week was quite the week because we had a long weekend here in Canada. We actually had Monday off, and I find that with long weekends, I don't know if you guys feel this, but after a long weekend, it's always so busy because you can only basically fit your workday into 4 days, right? Tuesday to Friday. I literally felt like I was back to back with meetings. I had like no time to really eat properly. But with that being said, it was really exciting this week because we had a lot of new clients that onboarded, people who are looking to heal their eczema. I've looked into a lot of different clinical cases this week, looking into my clients that have eczema and figuring out what their root cause is by looking at their diet, their lifestyle. I did a GI map interpretation this week. There's a lot of interesting things that I'm seeing right now in practice, and I have so many more episodes to share with you guys. Some of the root causes that I'm seeing with eczema and how it may be applicable to you. Actually, in today's episode, I want to share a client success story. This is a client who is dealing with fungal overgrowth, Candida, nutrient deficiencies, dysbiosis. She had multiple root causes, and she was quite the complex case. So if you're someone who suspects that you have different root causes, or even if you don't when it comes to your eczema, but you notice that you have a lot of different symptoms beyond eczema, this episode is going to be for you because she is a classic severe eczema case with multiple symptoms in all systems of her body. Also know a lot of you have questions about Candida, and some of you also have questions about food reactions. Some of you are maybe on an elimination diet to see if it improves your eczema, or maybe some of you are wondering how you can start adding foods back without having reactions. She's a very interesting case. We're going to cover all of it today, and also where she is at now after implementing a protocol and working together. So this client came to me with really bad eczema. She mostly had eczema in intimate areas, the crotch, the breast, under the armpits, anywhere that was really warm. It was really keeping her up at night. She was scratching constantly, and she couldn't figure out what is driving the itch and what is driving this eczema that seems to be uncontrollable. She was also terrified of food. Everything she ate actually caused an itch. So she knew there are certain foods that she didn't tolerate, but she couldn't figure out why. So when she came to me, her diet was very small, very restrictive. She couldn't eat carbohydrate foods like potatoes, and rice would completely flare her, and she was basically at a wit's end. Not only this, because of the eczema that she had in the intimate areas, it was really uncomfortable for her to walk. I know some of you can relate to this, like when your eczema is flaring and you're in physical pain or there's cuts and wounds, you can't move. It's very painful. Of course, she was itching, and that was affecting her sleep. She was not getting sleep because she would wake up in the middle of the night scratching. She had a lot of fear around food because there were so many foods that she couldn't eat. So she was constantly stressing and having this anxiety around her food, and it was basically a nightmare for her. It's already hard enough to deal with eczema itself. Then you have the stress around food, the anxiety around what to eat. She also had hormonal symptoms as well. She was having migraines around her cycle, PMS, sugar cravings. Like, she really was going through it. She had all the symptoms. Emotionally, of course, she felt stuck. She felt overwhelmed. And that's why she reached out to me, because she wanted a solution. What she was doing wasn't working with the restrictive dieting, and she needed a clear plan to figure out what's the root cause, why is her body reacting the way that it is, and how can we start to heal it. I just want to list to you some of the things she wrote in her intake form as to what she tried to do to heal. She went gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, low histamine, taking biotin, probiotic, turmeric supplement, algae omega-3 supplement, sulfur homeopathic remedies, celery juice for the past 20 days, allergy blood test, black mold removal in her house, Candida diet, avoiding a lot of different foods. And so one of the things with eczema is that a lot of people will do a lot of things at once, right? Clearly, when you're desperate, you want to do all the things. You think doing all the things means that something will eventually stick. Now, this is the issue, okay? Doing all the things isn't actually going to get you there faster. You have to be strategic, and you have to know what you're doing. And that is the missing piece for a lot of people. They start to throw spaghetti at the wall. I'm just going to take all these supplements, all these detoxes, all these cleanses, and just see what works, right? But how do you know what's going to work if you're taking 15 supplements. You don't. In fact, I had a call this week with someone who's interested in working together. She's wondering why her eczema is flaring. I asked her a few questions about her medical history, and it's because her past practitioner put her on too many herbs and too many detoxes. No wonder she's flaring. If you specialize in eczema, you know, or at least you should know, that aggressive protocols with herbs, detoxes, cleanses, do not work for eczema, okay? Some people might disagree with me because they're gonna say, well, if you have eczema, you have a detox problem. And that's gonna be a whole episode on its own. From seeing thousands of eczema cases, detoxes don't work for the long term, okay? Especially for a highly sensitive body who is dysregulated. There's chronic stress. There's a lot of other root causes going on. It's really gonna be too much for the body. This was a case for this client. You know, she was trying all these diets, taking all these supplements in hopes to heal, but really she needed a strategy. She needed a clear plan. And her case wasn't just a Candida case. It wasn't just remove foods and hope to heal, right? And what I saw from looking at her blood work, we did a GI map, her symptoms, as well as her medical history, is that all of these root causes were affecting each other, right? Because with eczema, there's usually a combination of root causes. So because she had underlying dysbiosis, she had indigestion, which we identified in her GI map and looking at her symptoms, that was fueling her eczema and contributing to this fungal overgrowth that she had. However, because she was under eating and not fueling her body, it was actually preventing her healing from progressing. Not to forget, she had chronic stress from dealing all of this and nervous system dysregulation. So that was also another piece of her protocol that always say your skin is not going to respond to a protocol if your body is dysregulated. So what we did differently for my client was have an actual clinical assessment of what is really going on with her body, looking deeper into the microbiome, into her nervous system, into her nutrition. We even looked at whether she had deficiencies in certain nutrients, simplified her protocol, took away a lot of the supplements that she didn't need, focused on the foundations first, which is to make sure that she's getting enough food and eating enough, hitting her protein needs, working with her very closely to reintroduce carbohydrates. That was one of the challenges that we were working on for quite a period of time, like up to 6 months of reintroducing foods back. And initially, when we were introducing the carbs, she would get a reaction, itching and flares. After we stabilized her body, did some of the gut healing and calm her immune system through lifestyle changes and certain supplements, that's when she saw that she could tolerate more of these foods without having a reaction. Food is hardly the reason why you're reacting. It's your immune system perceiving that food as a threat, as a foreign substance, and that's why your body is having this immune reaction to it. That doesn't mean we remove the food indefinitely, because a lot of the times when people do that and they bring the food back in, they're having the same symptoms. So we have to get to the root cause as to why you're reacting to the foods. And after months and months of the protocol, consistency, simplifying, we used supplements to replete nutrient levels because she was deficient in certain nutrients like iron and vitamin D. We also put her on a short-term antimicrobial because she did have fungal overgrowth. And because her immune system was overactive, we also used gentle gut support supplements to rebuild her immune system. And fast forward to today, I got the loveliest message from her saying that she no longer needs sessions, which is an amazing thing we want to hear because she's able to eat foods again. She doesn't have restrictions. Her skin is healing, and basically all of her symptoms have improved, and if not, completely gone. And remember, she had a lot of symptoms. It wasn't just eczema. Her energy got better, her digestion got better, she's sleeping at night again, she feels like herself, she doesn't have PMS anymore. Like, she is a whole different person. And this is the power of truly understanding your body, stripping away all the noise and all the random things that people are doing right now to heal, and focus on what your body needs. Your body will always give you signs and symptoms. You have to tune into it. But the biggest thing is having someone else assess your case, right? There's blind spots when you're trying to deal with your own health. That's why there's practitioners in general. We're here to help you uncover all of this so you don't have to deal with this for longer than you need to. And another huge win for her is that she's gaining weight, because previously, because she was on a very restrictive diet, she lost 14 pounds. 14 pounds, and she's already a very petite person. And so she didn't look too great when she lost all this weight in a short period of time. Now she's finally gaining it back by giving her body the nutrition that it needed. So what this means for you for today's client success story is that healing is absolutely more than possible, no matter how awful you feel, no matter how complex your case is. Just like this client, there's always a way. Now, I know some of you have probably worked with a lot of practitioners and have done a lot of things and it hasn't worked. I know that is very common as well, where you've done a lot of these things and you're a little bit afraid to do something else. But this is why I offer free discovery calls so I can understand what you've done, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and I can help you identify a possible missing link or missing piece to your healing. And then we can go from there, right? If we figure out that there's something that's missing and I'm able to help you, that's a great next step with your journey. I'll leave the link to book a free consultation and apply to work together in the show notes below. If you take anything away from this episode, just know that if you've tried every diet and you've tried every supplement and you're scared of food and you're just feeling like your eczema is controlling your life, there is another way to approach healing. And this is a real life story. You can even read her Google review below about how she's healed, how she was able to heal despite feeling like there was no option. Okay, that's for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna go get ready now. I'm speaking about diet and inflammation at a physiotherapy clinic. I'm really excited. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in the next episode.